I grabbed my guitar and saddled up for another wild and fun hour of comedy and music. 1 hour of full, high energy on stage is hard enough on your body, but 2 hours is killer, especially when you're drinking. But I did another great show. Everyone was still there and more. Jim came to the stage before I could unplug and handed me another $100 bill to go along with the third round, to go in a third round. I was starting to get hoarse, but I was feeling no pain. I took the 100 and said, "Jim, send me old granddad on this one." He was feeling no pain and said, "No problem, Mountain John." And I rolled on for the third set of Wild and Crazy Insanity. At the end of that one, I was drunk and numb, and so was everyone else. Jim handed me another 100 and said, "Hell yes." I was rich and trashed now. I pulled off one more show, but it only lasted 40 minutes. I don't know what I drank, but it should have been Maalox. When I got finished, Jim said, "How about one more?" And I whispered, "Hell no." My voice and brain were gone. He laughed and handed me a room key and said, "You've got a room down that hall." I said, "No, I've got to leave." He said, "Look out here." We went out the bar door and into the lobby, and there was 3 foot of snow on the roof of the old scallywag. I would be spending the night. 4 1-hour shows drinking like that was all I could do. Down the hall I went to find my room. The next morning I was up early, and Melvin and Nick, who both worked at Seven Springs for the bar services, let me into the lounge. I needed to pack up and head south with all of Jim's money. Hell, I had enough money to get to North Carolina in style. I was actually in pretty good shape considering all the drinking the night before. I started tearing down the equipment, and the door opened, and in walked that guy named Willie. I heard the door and turned around, and he said, "Hey, asshole." I figured he was saying good morning in redneck. I said, "Good morning, Willie. Can I help you?" He said, "Yeah." And then he said, "I don't like you. I don't like your long hair. I don't like your earring. I don't like that beard. But my boss, Jim McClure, told me to get my calendar and give you some bookings." I said, "Well, asshole, I don't like you. I don't like your red neck. I don't like your attitude or your short hair. But if Jim wants me here, I'll get my calendar and book some dates with you." He laughed, and so did I. I said, "So you must be Jim's bar manager. I didn't know that when I asked you to help me unload last night, but Melvin did a fine job, and he and Nick are fine people." And Willie said, "Where do you go from here?" And I said, "North Carolina." He said, "You know, Smoke, there's a blizzard going on all over the East Coast with travel advisories." I said, "Don't worry about my ass, boss. I've been on the road in every kind of weather known to man, and I'll be fine in my old truck." We booked some dates, shook hands, and he said, "You know, asshole, I think I like you." I said, "That's good, asshole," and turned around and went back to work. Willie left, and I said, "Oh shit, yahoo, amen." A new place with good people from one side of the mountain to the other side of the mountain in 3 days. All I ever need is a place to sing, and this appeared to be a place that might last a while. I packed the truck and headed south in a blizzard through Virginia on Interstate 81 towards the North Carolina line. As I drove the scallywag through the Virginia mountains, I thought of Debbie. She had always been the one person who was there for me, and I know she believes in my gift and dream, but for some reason, her path and my path were no longer running parallel. I had no idea what was going to happen in that relationship, but I could see us drifting further and further apart. The road is a tough and cruel mistress and has destroyed many relationships for musicians through the years, and that's what writes the songs. The loneliness and fear and insecure nights. The whiskey helps numb the pain when you're younger, But eventually your body gives all of those temporary medications up. By then you're too old to feel that energetic, sporadic fire that happens between people, and you also become wise enough, you will become wise enough to realize that it's just not worth the trouble to get involved anymore. Even the mistress lets you go. Then it becomes the dream and you. The dream never leaves as long as you stay true to it. I was still young enough to heed the call and feel the feeling, and I kept going down the backbone of that long-legged winch we call the highway. I was truly born to be a rambler. I had written some more great songs and poetry and desperately needed to record another album by spring. I told Debbie and she agreed. I had a friend in Chadds Pennsylvania, who was a fine musician and had a small studio in his garage, E.B. Hawkins. His wife, Annie, was a horse person, and she and Debbie had become close friends. One night, while singing at the Manor Tavern in Moncton, Maryland, Annie and E.B. showed up and had dinner with Debbie, and we decided I should record my next album at E.B.'s studio. We blocked off 2 weeks in April, and I chose the songs for E.B. to produce.